A related area to all of this is the level of public involvement in decision making. Einstein's ladder is something that it's good to get a bit of a handle around. This idea that public involvement might be tokenistic, so we're just going to tell the people what we're going to do, or we're even going to manipulate them into sort of accepting something that we've already decided, or maybe we're going to consult with them, and that might just be a token sort of, well, we'll consult, but your decisions won't, your ideas won't really impact the outcome. Or we might be in some sort of more deeper partnership, all the way through to some sort of citizen power where we, the engineering experts, are sort of beholden to, the citizens get to decide, the citizens get to vote on things, or they might say, well, I want it to be like this, but we'll delegate some power in the minor details to the engineering team, but we want this. And I suppose there is this concept of the Einstein gap where the people usually want somewhere between partnership and delegated power, but in actual fact they typically get informed or maybe consulted. They don't really have any power in public decision making. And this very much applies to the road network as well. You can often see this in the context of major projects and also minor projects. This also ties back to the legitimacy of some of this sort of stuff, and whether what we're building on the road network, what we're building in engineering is legitimate, is what people want. So it's more than just about having the power, it's also about whether this is the right thing to do, whether it's accepted, and also harkens back to some of the stuff that we spoke about earlier in the semester about the legitimacy of road vehicles over pedestrians, the invention of jaywalking and things like that. In engineering, quite often things are legitimate because they comply with standards, or indeed maybe if you're a professional engineer who's been licensed, drawing is now legitimate when you stamp it. However, there are other types of legitimacy, so regulatory, we require something by law, consent, people voted for this, whether it's reasonable or not, whether there's an unconditional duty, or even sort of conditional normative support, it's called, where people might be in favour of an idea as long as it meets some conditions. I'm in favour of Skyrail to improve the level crossings, just as long as you don't do the one in my backyard. And this sort of does tie in, to a certain extent, to finding ourselves in a political system where even though we might have something like the Disability Discrimination Act, the battle over how road space will be allocated is something that is decided at council meetings, and also something that we see political theatre, such as this example of disabled public transport users protesting about not being able to get on and off trams because one of the cities in Melbourne decided that the tram stops wouldn't have planning permission without a bike lane. Anyway, I hope that that's been an interesting side trip into some of the more public policy analysis points of view. This is really starting to get a little bit off the track of traffic engineering, but I think it was still important to bring this up in the context of road management and the strategic frameworks that we're sort of talking about, to give you a bit of an idea that this does exist within a larger issue of politics and public policy, and that the most rational outcome is not always the one that is chosen.